Welcome everybody to your all team call. It's fantastic to see Viraj after so long. Love the smile, missing you on screen. And we're already in May. Wow, 5th month into the year. Where is the year going? Big month for us with the baby coming in a week's time. And my last call with you guys on the all team call for a while. And then you'll have another Ambika version 2.0 or 3.0 rather. Returning on these calls at some point.
Don't compare. Don't expect an Ambika on the next calls.
And so, no, when I return, and then up until then, Ronnie will be leading the monthly calls, and Emma will be doing the weekly team calls. There she is, just in the waiting room. All right, cool. So to kick off, let's do our amazing gratitude fire round. Why? Because gratitude really grounds us and shifts our energy immediately. So who wants to kick off?
I'll go first.
Go for it, Alika.
Okay, so I'm really grateful that I was able to get back on the road this week, from yesterday actually. And even though, like, you know, doing cardio at home, we've got a big yard and a big driveway and stuff like that. There's just something different about getting out there and walking on the road and finding the hills and things like that. And also listening to podcasts while I'm doing that as well. So I'm just grateful that, like, yesterday morning and this morning, I could go out and do at least 5Ks. Well, 6Ks this morning and 6.5 yesterday. So that's what I'm going to be keeping up now. So
oh,
grateful
well
for
done.
that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Who next? Go for it. Literally unmute and jump in. Go for it, Tom.
Yep, I'll go. I'm grateful for just the amazing people in my life. Yeah, just really present to how there's so many awesome people around me that I learn so much from, you guys included, but just in different groups I'm in. And I don't always appreciate that, but actually that's something amazing to have in your life. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for.
Awesome.
Same here. Very similar to Tom. I'm just very grateful for being part of so many awesome communities and in and amongst a pretty awesome tribe of people, which a couple of years ago just wasn't even a thought. So just very present to that right now.
Awesome, Viraj. Thank you.
I'll go. I'm very grateful for Tom for making me feel painful and sore in my leg. I think got damaged yesterday. So what I'm really grateful for is I love a challenge. It keeps me going. I love saying yes to things I know and think I can't do because it makes me thinking, give it a go every day. So this 1,000 rep challenge, we've 2 months ago, I was speaking to someone who does these 30-day challenges around a particular habit. And I was like, I want to bring that into our group. And I want I'd love our coaches to start this 30-day thing. But this person, somebody else, a friend of mine, who does it for yoga and some form of exercise. And I said, and she's a FITBANKER. And I said, let's bring this into the Transforming a Billion Lives. And we do a post whereby we ask people to, I think as part of the coaches developing, being a go-to health leader, is creating just a habit group for 30 days to see the uptake of a light challenge that we can create and do and see how it goes. And you know, that conversation aside, this has happened regardless with Tom, and I'm just awesome. Grateful for Tom. Really grateful for Tom kicking this off, and let's see how it goes. And I'm looking forward to having many more similar things with other coaches at some point as well. So thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Ronnie. Cheers, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. If I last 30 days, we'll see. But let's see.
Can I go next? Yeah, I'm also really grateful for Tom for the abs challenge. There was a time in my life when I literally used to do 1,000 reps a day, and I had a proper six-pack, and that's not now. And I was doing them this morning. I just got present to the enjoyment I actually get from doing it when I can do it. So I'm really excited because I've been avoiding this hardcore routine for ages. I'm really grateful to my support networks. I'm grateful to this time and space, right, just to create. So it's really great, and also to start being visible. So I'm really working on, like, I've been delivering live meditations every week, and I've been coaching people in a group level and one-on-one every day. Well, group levels 3 times a week, but it's just growing and effortlessly, and I just feel really grateful that I'm in the right space for me. I'm making a difference.
Awesome, Claire. Who's next?
All right, I'll go next.
Kieran,
Yeah.
go for it.
Simran.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm also really grateful for Tom. I must say that perfect way to start the thousands week, because I think as a week 4, one of our assignment is to do the 100th rep. Somehow I've not got the email, but you know, from 100 to 1,000, wow. So yeah, gotta keep at it, and hopefully I'll last for 30 days, and I've got to be mindful about my back too and not re-injure it again. Secondly, what the other thing I'm really grateful for is that having learned a musical instrument, and during this lockdown, being able to bring it out and strum, and you know, to keep myself entertained. So really grateful that I'm doing that, and continue to do that, and continue to still teach kids how to strum the harmonium. Actually, that's the new instrument that I play. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. We should have a FITBANKER coaches musical concert one morning.
I didn't know that you played the harmonium.
That's
That's
amazing.
so cool.
Yeah, from Bandra, that's the other side. So
Wow.
yeah, I do sing too. I do vocal training with kids. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's amazing, Kieran. Thank you.
I request on the next call, Kieran, at the end of the call, you play a little something for us, just to
Exactly.
get us in the mood for the weekend.
Or a quick part or something.
That's so good.
As your buddy, you have to accept, right?
The game we play with FITBANKER coaches that we started with Simran was yes or yes. Are the options on the team.
I saw that. I love that game.
This is when Simran was prepping for Kili in 2017 and came and stayed with us for 6 weeks. And the game Ronnie created with her was yes or yes. And it's always been the game, and so Simran's always a yes to all requests that come through, which is amazing. All right, Simran, you were next. Go for it.
Yeah, and thank you for just bringing it up before I share. I was actually going to be grateful for this. I am grateful for Ronak Bhai being a part of my life, always holding my back, and having this stupid game in my life, which is yes or yes. So I only say yes. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. I can jump in very quickly.
And replying to the questions you ask, even if you ask the same question every week 10 times in a row.
Yeah, bearing with me.
I'm grateful for you guys. What I'm getting present to is there's so many aha moments or things to just share, and it's like, what group, my go-to group is this group, which is where which is where there's such a comfort in sharing growth, breakdowns, ahas, and it's become such a rich pot of energy. I just want to say I love you guys. So thanks for being you. Each one of you is unique and special. So really, really grateful for every one of you.
Love you too.
So, is Charlene meant to be on?
She is, and I just checked. She hasn't seen the group messages. So I'm gonna have to ping her separately in a bit. But let's continue. Or actually, if anybody could ping her, I don't want to take away from this meeting. That would be really helpful.
I'll go with my gratefuls.
Go for it, Emma.
Okay. So good morning. This morning, I'm grateful to feel my body in a different way. It's surely talking to me, and I'm really grateful for it. So thank you, Tom, again. I'm grateful for the warm sun it's really like the temperatures have really gone up in Spain this last week, and I'm just really grateful for it to feel that on your back again. And I'm really grateful for every single victory this week, and that I did a personal best in Fitbit and clocked up over 100k steps in from Monday to Friday. So I'm really grateful to myself for doing that, and my legs for carrying me.
Has everyone gone? No, we got Jag.
No, just me. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Like, obviously, like picking off everyone else's shares as well. Yes, thank you, Tom, because I am definitely probably the person who I don't think who's ever done even. I might have to confess, I don't even think I've ever done the 100 challenge because I'm so scared of pain. I do not like pain. As soon as I start feeling pain, I stop. And so yesterday was really funny because I had done one of the group meditations yesterday, and in that it was about integrating feminine and male energies. And I was just like, and what came for me was I need discipline. And so I've been avoiding reading Tom's messages about this 1,000 thing, and I didn't really look at it. And then in the end, I just said, okay, yes, put me in the group. And then I read the details afterwards, kind of thing. And I did it. Like, you know, like it just like, and so I'm really grateful for you guys, right? Having a community that just keeps on pushing us to grow. Like, you guys didn't know personally that I needed that, right? But like just being in that environment where I kept on feeling prompted, like, okay, this is something I need to do and I should do it. And then obviously I'm really grateful for my body as well, because I've obviously, like, my mind has really made me think my body is quite weak, that there's no way I'd be able to do even 100, let alone 1,000 or something. So yeah, like mind, body, community, contribution, everything. Like it's just, yeah, like it's a really big, yeah. So thank you, Tom. You know, that was like, you know, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Ronnie. Like, and even Simran, especially when I saw Simran was doing the 1,000. Simran, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I've always been so inspired by you. And I'm like probably thanks to you, Ronnie, saying yes and yes. Getting her to say yes to stuff. So every time Simran says yes to something, I'm like, oh God, I gotta say yes as well. Simran's saying yes, I gotta say yes.
That's awesome.
Jag, and she brings a lot of people with her, like on that challenge, on like whatever she signs up to. She does invite a lot of people to step into that part of life.
Awesome. And we have Charlene on as well. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jag. And we have Charlene on as well. And actually, can you hear us, Charlene?
Hi guys, sorry, I forgot today was Saturday because yesterday was a holiday. So sorry for coming on. But thanks, Olika and Tom, for sending me a reminder.
So we're just doing all good. We're just doing the quick gratitude fire round, and you are up. One thing you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for life, and yeah, for life. It's a good day. I'm here. I woke up healthy, happy. So I'm just grateful for being here.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. I just said, Charlene, when this recording is done, just watch from the beginning. There's a lot of gratitude for a lot of different things, and especially Thomas got us into. A lot of us are feeling it. And
the challenge, I'm going to start, I think, on Monday. I saw the 1,000 challenge. I saw your video this morning, so I'm going to also start on Monday.
Awesome.
I'll add you to the group.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thanks, Charlene. So, Tom has already reserved his place for the next segment. Sorry, Simran. And in just being proactive. And so, Tom, take it away for us. Can you see the screen?
I can. I am loving the fact that Simran cannot generate this morning. Oh,
this is
moment
cheating.
For a little while.
This is cheating. I was the first one to go today.
I created it last week, Simran. You just gotta.
Yeah, but that's past already. It's gone.
Yeah. Well, here we are. Ambika's in charge, and she said I'm generating it. So let's not argue with her. She's pregnant as well. So, all right, okay. Welcome to life. Objective: through being. Actually, we'll start from the beginning. FITBANKER, the Inspiring Life series. Welcome to life. Objective: through being a FITBANKER coach, We will be someone who upholds our relationship to food, exercise, and ourselves. 2, understand the real role of our body, mind, and intellect. 3, leverage social media to inspire our communities and our world to live a healthy lifestyle to transform lives. And 4, is a health leader and go-to person in our communities. Social media is now filled with positive, healthy, and inspiring content. The world and the lives around us are now inspired and choose to start living life.
Thanks, Tom. I want to turn to you guys now and ask you 6 weeks for some of us, for some it's been 7 weeks in lockdown. With health, where do you see these objectives, this way of living, this lifestyle very present in your lives?
Ambidi, can you rephrase your question again?
Yeah, with this lockdown going on, and it's been 6 weeks for some, 7 for other nations, going into the 8th week, where have these objectives shown up? And may not be consistently, but where have they shown up in your life where you've consciously stood in upholding your relationship to food, exercise, and yourself, understanding the role of your body, mind, intellect, leveraging social media to really inspire others and become that go-to person, that health leader in your respective communities? I'd love to hear one example on each from a couple of you. Olika, go for it.
Okay, so for me, I think having all this time to not be in the external world so much, and not having so much of like outside influence in terms of moving outside of just being in my house. I think my relationship to food, exercise, and myself has been something that has shown up, because I think that for me has been the most important foundation. Like before, I felt like I can go out and look at the mind and intellect and go out into social media and go out and actually be a go-to person. My foundation has always been the relationship to food and to exercise. And I've now become so much more like conscious of the food that I'm eating and what it's doing to me. And when I do exercise, how I'm feeling. When I don't do exercise, how I feel. And also many other things like how I interact with my family, my meditation practice. All these things are coming back to food, exercise, and how I'm relating to myself. So I feel like this time has really made me conscious of like understanding the impact of different foods on my body and the impact of different types of exercise on my body, and how I'm showing up with that.
And Alika, there's been such a shift in my experience of you in just your being around, I won't say over the last month, where you shared the breakdown in your life and just how you're taking it on has been so admirable and so inspiring. So I really want to give a shout out to you for owning the inner work, because that's all we have at the end of the day.
Exactly, and it's been such a transformation, and I'm starting not to look at things that show up and disappear in my life as something that I directly have any control over. It's like I know it's showing up because there's a lesson that I still need to learn, and as I said, this whole relationship to food, because I used to use food as a comfort. And sometimes I still go back into that loop where I'm using food as a comfort. And so I've picked that up now, and I know exactly why that happens and when that happens. And for me, that's been the most amazing thing. And it happened because I have no distractions now. There's no distractions, and I'm just focusing on that. So
awesome. So great. Thank you, Olika. One more person.
Simran.
Go for it, Simran. Where is this showing up for you in the lockdown period?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sharing with Emma last night as well on my thing. It's like suddenly around me or with me has just shifted. People have started to think, oh, Simran is making the most out of this period. She is taking care of her health, and suddenly I'm present. I've never, after my programs, in all my programs, like when I did core, when, I've never done my MyFitnessPal as religiously as I'm doing it right now, and I'm even getting creative with it, because right now in a lockdown I can't order the food. So I was yesterday I was eating a watermelon, and I put it on the manual scale where people like how see how much it weighs. So that's what. And then yesterday, like, this 1,000 rep game came up, right? And then to just naturally share, I've started to share on Instagram about, oh, like, I've been sweating, it's just coming. It's not like, oh, I'm doing it because somebody asked me to, or there is an intention behind it. It is just that, and even somebody came up to me and they were like, you know like, you were sharing as if, how much you've like sweat a lot. I was like, even this much of sweat on my face is a big deal, so I share. So it's not a justification. It's not that I'm doing it for something. People will of course get inside of that. They can approach me. I'm a clearing for that, but I am not sharing because of something. It's just that I'm so much into fitness right now. It's inspiring. It's like how I've generated this, like, every day to just not give up. Been great. That's what
That's
I
brilliant,
wanted to
Simran.
share.
Congratulations, and really, really, really well done. And I mean, uh, to your point, seeing the growth across all the challenges you've encored, even from your first challenge when you became a record breaker, your performance and your mind, more than performance, your mindset right now is just at a different level. And so I am yet again grateful to you and thrilled that you were a yes to coaching, even though every part of your body was saying, no, how can I? Because I'm not X. So really well done for taking that on. That takes remarkable courage. And, the outcome and the results is so evident. So well done on that front. All right, guys. So today what we really want to delve.
Simran, sorry, I just want to acknowledge Simran for that. When you, if while you're in lockdown, Simran, all that's happening, and if while during lockdown you're not having to physically go to your office and all this you're able to do within the time that's available, I would really, really invite you to go 10x, double down on everything in this window of lockdown. This lockdown is such an opportunity for so many people in terms of the time and what we can do, and the way we can do what we can do qualitatively. So the fact that this little momentum has kicked off, just go to town with it. Like, really do every area of the 5 pillars, and let's have a new update before and after photo of you as well.
All right, guys. We have been working on what we call the FITBANKER leadership values. Now, other than Emma, I don't think anybody would have seen the FITBANKER values document that we had initially created in 2015. And then in 2016, we came up with the FITBANKER A to E leadership values. And as we're growing, as we're connecting with more and more community from across the globe, there was a time for an upgrade. So we've upgraded that, but this very much is a working document. So you guys will need a pen and paper to sit and jot these down. But we've got currently 9 upgraded FITBANKER leadership values, which to create for you guys, we really would love to be the moral compass, the guiding star, the light at the end of the tunnel, to ground you in and around coaching. And often I find when we're stuck in a conversation, it's where do I go to from here? The intention is that this document, which once we finalize it, because it's still very much a working document, becomes your go-to place, becomes your leadership foundation to spring off of and really bring in a different perspective by grounding yourself in any one or more of these leadership values. So there's 9 of them. And the intention is we'll create them on today's call, have a discussion with you guys. And Ronnie is very keen to do mocking conversations. And so from the next month team calls, I think mocking around each one of these in terms of very common conversations that recur, and it's not just with participants. Of course, we'll use the example of participants, but consider we have those same conversations with other people in our lives where they're just not taking ownership of X, or any one of these breakdowns show up, and then how do we implement and bring into practice the different leadership values? So kicking off, the first one is awareness. And with great leadership comes the ability to listen. And it's not just hearing. When I say listen, listening is actually that, getting present to that which is the nonverbal communication, or that which is unsaid. So consider 70% of our communication is nonverbal. And therefore, even if you're on a phone call and you cannot see people face to face the way we can see each other, there is a type of listening you bring to the conversation to hear that which is unsaid in what a person is dealing with. And you only get access to that when we get into inquiry and asking questions. So being intentionally curious to what another is really dealing with beyond the verbal communication is a muscle we'd love for every one of you to build, because whether you are speaking to a participant or whether you're speaking to family members, it matters hugely that you can bring that awareness of really what is this person dealing with. So as an example, we have family calls, and often on every Sunday, and on those family calls, I hear with certain family members, there's a repetitiveness in how those who have taken on the health will communicate with those who haven't taken on the health. Why are you still eating that? Why are you still eating that? Why did you eat that thing? And when will you change your habits? And that same conversation could have been happening 5 years ago. It's just a pattern that's repeating itself, where the person being spoken to is still eating what they're eating and justifying it. And people who are being a stand for them are frustrated that they're just not shifting. And what I got present to as I was hearing that conversation is, we're focusing on what this person is doing. But when we shift our focus to why they're doing what they're doing, what is their occurring of life such that they're continuing to put X into their body? What is their relationship to themselves? When we get to the source of that, then we can alter the way we communicate. And so awareness, number one, is critical. 2 is sharing. Sharing is pivotal when it comes to being able to shift our ability to relate to another. A brilliant example that is most recent is, actually all of you weren't on the call last week, but Kieran had shared she was struggling with one of the participants, and that it's a 2-week-old relationship. She hasn't got any other context on the participant. And that was a brilliant example that she gave, that because she hadn't got much relatedness to the participant, she wasn't able to shift the needle much. And consider every single one of you gets participants that you don't know otherwise. And sometimes in a life outside of the challenge, we have people we've known for decades, and similarly, or people we've just come across. But our immediate access to get related to them is our ability to share. And when I talk about share, I mean steer clear from hypothetical scenarios, steer clear from giving examples of conceptual stuff out there. If you want to get into another person's world, put the spotlight on yourself and give concrete personal examples of your own journey, of failures, breakdowns, and of potentially peers within this community, but of course not mentioning anybody else's name to respect confidentiality. That truly, without fail, every single time you'll hear that on my Monday morning lives, I will talk about breakdowns or arguments that Ronnie and I have had, or that I've had at work, or whatever else. I make it real, and always will put the spotlight on me. This is what happened, and this is what I can be responsible for. The more we can do that, the more we give others the permission to put the spotlight on themselves and be just authentic. So the second one is sharing. The third one is empowering. This is this has always been there, and it's something that it really takes some building muscle off and then muscle weaning away and constantly putting into practice. But it's how do you speak to your participants' greatness at all times, no exceptions, right? A participant may do what they said they were going to do, or may not do what they said they were going to do. How do you get on every single call being their biggest champion ever, like hitting the reset button? Because they are courageous people who've taken on life. They've signed up to a challenge so goddamn publicly, just as you did, and they're entitled to great results. And so how they've been is by no means, or should by no means, govern or plague or taint the way you engage with them. Every single call you jump on, you are their greatest challenge. And consider that they are an extension of you. And what makes you unique to any other person in their life is they probably already have other people in their life who are judging them, right? Exactly what Simran just said right now. With her sharing out there, people are saying, oh, you're sharing as if you've done X, such great deals. The point is not how great you think I am. The point is that I'm taking this action. But people have to deal with that judgment, and she's got the leadership tools to be able to bring nothingness to that conversation and continue on her journey. But many people don't, and then we get stopped, right? Again, to use Simran as an example, when we were doing Kilimanjaro the first go, her own family said, you can't do this. Why on earth have you signed up for this mountain climb? Because people will come from a place of fear or a place of love. They'll come from a place of judgment or a place of really empowering us. And where we want you to guys be, where we want every single one of us to be grounded in, and remind each other, please, to be grounded in this, is be empowering always, no exception. You are your participant's greatest champion, because chances are they don't have such champions out there who will always, always speak to their greatness. Number 4 is equanimity. With equanimity, it is human tendency for us to have favorites and less favorites. And when we see people participating, now the reason you guys are all coaches, and I've said this previously, is because you all did smash your 90-day challenges. You did bring a level of performance and then leadership and then impact on community that enables you to want this yearning to want to make a difference ongoingly. And some participants may just not give a damn about making a difference to another person. Some participants may not even give a damn about doing the program as per design. And then you have others, everybody will have a mixed bag, who are going all out. And I know for myself, the ones who are going all out are people who I'll tend to steer towards and be like, woohoo. And where my growth came in was, how about giving the same love, the same attention, the same coaching being with those who weren't? What would that space look like? And equanimity becomes essential, because consider that context you bring of this one is superior or this one is inferior has nothing to do with the participant. It is just a reflection of judgment that we hold within ourselves and how we relate to ourselves in the context of others, and others in the context of ourselves. All right. So the minute we think of anybody as inferior or superior, consider that is a ting, a bell, a red flag to tell you that you have something unhealed here within you that you've got to transform. And the goal is bring equanimity to every relationship. When you can bring equanimity, your ability to make a difference to another transforms dramatically. The 5th one is be your word. Honor your word with any agreement you have as a FITBANKER coach. I think that one's straightforward, and yet it's the crux of who we are. 6 is very similar to equanimity, but it's non-judgment. So this was one of the first values, and I know I stand in judgment a lot of the times. And one thing Ronnie's brilliant at is calling me out on that, with family members, particularly with family members, where just some of their lifestyles, I feel like they will just do stuff to be a rebel, to not listen. Their game is no or no, is how they occur to me. Anything that I invite them to will be a no, or we invite them to around health, well-being, personal development. And to give up that judgment is critical, because the minute judgment is in that space, consider there's a disconnectedness. You have zero ability to make a difference to another the minute judgment is in the place. And so non-judgment is almost the crux of what it is to be in the FITBANKER aspect. That's one. But the other aspect around non-judgment, and we've had conversations with coaches where a coach will label a participant, right, based on their interpretation of this participant's life. If somebody said they were going to do something and didn't do it, that doesn't make the participant a liar. What is they just didn't do it. If somebody is, taking certain actions, there's a concern of this person is going through depression, this person is an alcoholic. There's multiple labels we create subconsciously, not with intention to be nasty, but with intention of okay, I think this person is under this category, let's label them, and then I can find a solution or fix them from there. But the minute we label anybody, we take away our ability to make a difference to them. And the same applies with medical systems. The minute a doctor has said somebody has cancer or diabetes, there's almost a stamp put on you of this is therefore all you can do in life because you have this. Let's take away from labels, right? None of us are a fixed way of being. If anything, we know from our own transformation journeys is that we have the friggin' remarkable potential to adapt in any given moment. Speak to our participants that way. So non-judgment is number 6. Number 7 is resilient. Never, ever, ever give up on anybody, right? And I've spoken to multiple coaches where you're just like, I'm done with this person. And Jesse shared in the last challenge where he, just 2 weeks from the completion said, all right, buddy, do you want to just, end the challenge now? And the participant said yes, and did choose to end the challenge. Then Jesse really got how he gave up on his participant and then went and restored that, and the participant came back. And that was remarkable. But it's when you feel like nothing's going anywhere, you pause, get the support, get the coaching, and go back. But a 90-day challenge has a set start and a set end date. During that period, you are 100% accountable to this participant. And we have seen people move mountains in the last 3 weeks that didn't move an inch in the 80 days prior to that, or the 70 days prior to that. And so you just never know when the penny drops for people. And with you showing up consistently, being there for people regardless of who they are, and the resilience to just say, this is what it is, I'm going to keep showing up, pivoting. And Emma's, Emma comes to mind with this because she's had so many participants that are international in places where the time difference is crazy, but more so that they just haven't responded. And the best example was of this, I can't remember the participant's name. But he didn't move anything, nor responded to emails, nor responded to a call. But at the end of the challenge, went back and acknowledged her. The Pakistani Ronak who's in JP Morgan with you, I forget his name completely. Yeah,
Khan.
That's it. And to say he's caught up on all the webinars, like in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks or something, he's totally on top of it with everything, was just remarkable, right? And that resilience of her as a coach to keep showing up, but do the work on herself to say, what do I need to shift? What do I need to let go of? What is a disconnect right now between me and the participant is critical. The 8th one is compassion, critical to yourself and to another. And the thing is, all of these are related. So when there's judgment for another, then consider there is lack of compassion. And when there's lack of compassion, the source of it is lack of compassion to yourself. It's never out there with another. Anything that we put in a space between ourselves and another stems and is sourced 100% by ourselves, within ourselves. And which leads me to the last one, which is perhaps the mother of all of these leadership values, which is forgiveness. And forgiveness is vital because it not only impacts your health, but it impacts your ability to make a difference. Every one of us, multiple times in a day, feel we're at the effect of something. We feel somebody's being nasty to us, taunting us, life is happening unfairly, circumstances are not serving us. And consider that all of that occurring is because we're not forgiving ourselves. We're holding on to something, some notion about ourselves that is a disservice to us. And then the first place that the ego, the false identity, goes to is blaming something external out there because it's too uncomfortable to actually get that I'm actually at the source of this. There's something I'm not forgiving here about myself. And therefore, it's easier for the ego to blame others, right? Your tone, your way of being, this lockdown is impacting my work, is impacting my schedule, but none of that is true, even down to weight, right? In A Course in Miracles, Marianne Williamson, and even in her book, talks about our fluctuating body composition comes down to this lack of forgiveness because we associate with ourselves. We're so attached to the body and then make these harsh judgments of ourselves. And therefore, we're constantly oscillating and penduluming versus enabling ourselves to just heal through self-forgiveness that gives us access to much more. So guys, those are the 9 principles. I'm going to pause here. Just quickly do a recap. It's awareness, sharing, empowering, equanimity, be a word, non-judgmental, resilient, compassion, and forgiveness. And so I'm going to pause there and turn the mic to you guys in terms of questions and what are you hearing from this, or anything you want to share?
Between equanimity and non-judgment, like what's the distinction between the two? Because to me they sounded pretty similar.
They are very similar, and I think they're very similar. I think non-judgment precedes equanimity. So it's almost the precursor leading to, like, what will give you access to equanimity will be the non-judgment.
Yeah, it's almost just being detached to the way it goes.
Precisely. And it's the judgment piece is such a nail in our foot. We don't often realize this. And I was coaching this couple 3 days ago, and the lady said about the man who was sat right next to her, this may sound like a judgment to some people, but my opinion is, Simran, the call's going on for an hour, which was updated on the chat. So the all team calls will be an hour going forward, just because we get the whole group and there's so much mocking and training to do. So I hope everybody saw the message that was sent through earlier on Wednesday. And so she said, this may sound like a judgment to some people, but this is how this person is, in my opinion. And I was like, let's be straight and cut the crap. That is a judgment, period, right? It's not some people think it's a judgment and some won't. It is a judgment. And we put the judgment in the space is a complete inability to connect with another. And then equanimity is to get that there isn't anybody superior or inferior. All those categorizations surface from within ourselves. Oleg, does that answer your question, Viraj?
Yes, with equanimity, there's just a balance and there's a commitment, there's a detachment to the way it goes, and it's just dealing with it as is.
Yeah, it's really mastering, bringing neutrality. How do you get to be neutral?
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
perfect. Got it, Simran. Thanks for communicating that. Olika?
Okay, so my question is also on equanimity, and I think I just don't have enough clarity on that. My feeling is that, okay, maybe this comes from like my background as being a teacher and understanding that we can't really see everybody and treat everybody the same. Is that what we're focusing on? Because it seems too much of a disconnect, because you're saying, okay, there's equanimity, we need to have this like equal vision for and balanced mind for everyone. But the truth of the matter is some people are going to need different things, but you can't just say that, okay, I'm going to see everybody the same, because they're not the same. And that's,
yeah, I love that. Thanks for clarifying that. So the way we coach A can certainly not be the way we coach B, because both of them come from different backgrounds, different environments, have different mindsets, have a different way that the challenge is showing up for them. So you're 100% correct. If we're saying, do X, Y, Z to A, that may not work for B if we're saying do X, Y, Z in the same way. So the equanimity is not, so there'll be different approaches needed for both as per where each person's journey is between A and B, right? So the customization in our conversations will depend on where each participant is in their respective journeys. 100% correct on that part. The equanimity is, how do you get to be consistently that champion without thinking anyone is lesser than or greater than in a conversation, right? Somebody may require more support, and then you bring the necessary support needed. However, it's not coming from a place of, God damn it, this participant is such a hard thing to deal with, or I'm struggling with it. And all the judgments that we put pre the call starting is what we're talking about over here. So how do you get to bring your own grandness to every participant consistently, regardless of where they are in the journey? And then the nature of the call will completely differ as per what support is needed.
Okay, so I think the penny finally dropped as to the many conversations we had a couple of months ago regarding participants being a reflection of us. And many times I took it very literally that if somebody was showing up negatively, then suddenly it had to do with me. But now I understand that the way we perceive ourselves, and it starts with ourselves, this equanimity is not so much for the other person or the multiple participants that we have, or even family members or friends or whoever. This equanimity pillar that we have is for us. It's about having equanimity in our own association, so that when we associate with other people, we bring that as well. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes 100% sense. And actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I know Kieran had raised that as a concern before she was starting on the chat. And that's perfectly articulated. Alaka, it truly is our grounding principle in relationship to ourselves, that association we have with ourselves, where we can bring equanimity. And all of us have those vicious, polarizing thoughts of ourselves in multiple moments in a day, and then it will show up as the circumstances and people out there. But it's not that somebody is dealing with a marriage breakdown, it must be because something's wrong in my relationships. That's not the issue. It's some trigger here, and when I get that bring the equanimity within me, the association and ability to make a difference out there with others transforms and is elevated dramatically.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
So on that, it's just what we see in another is really a clue to ourselves, but not actually the mirror reflection. But it's it's just like the reminder of, okay, something just.
It's not even a clue. It's literally, so, you know, to bring this home, right? If Ronak and I have an argument, or if Kanaya has done something that's really upset me, where I go to after the initial emotional reaction, but where I go to when I'm doing the inner work is, it's not what Ronak said. It is how it made me feel. And if it made me feel inadequate, if it made me feel unloved, if it made me feel unappreciated, it has nothing to do with him. He's on his own respective journey. But that, I get the realization, is that that's a very recurring pattern for me, to feel unappreciated, to feel unloved, to feel invisible. And it doesn't show up just with him. It'll show up at work, it'll show up with my parents. And it stems, in fact, from my originating relationship with my parents. When I get present to that, then instantly the anger that's channeled towards him, making him wrong, how could he say X, is diffused, because I get the trigger is within me, and these are the triggers. And then I work on the triggers. And the minute I work on the triggers, then that instant reaction is gone, right? So it's not him saying or doing anything. He's simply a conduit. He's like a tunnel that the universe is shining through me to say, this is what I need to still work on. And therefore, these conversations will continue to show up in my space.
So can I add something there? A couple of things. Are you there?
Yeah, please go for it.
Yeah, so equanimity is really approaching a client and every client, right? And even the same client at different times when we approach them with the same tools, with the same values, right? And also coming at it with a fresh mind and perspective. So carrying no past baggage of a past conversation, carrying no comparison of you as a participant versus this, or bringing no preconception that they have X versus this other person who doesn't have XYZ, like they're stubborn, or they're that's the reason why they're not great in relationships. This person that I'm coaching, I can see how they're not great in my coaching conversations, and no wonder their relationships in their life aren't working out, or some form of preconceivement that you bring to them that you wouldn't otherwise bring to another participant who you think, wow, that participant is an A-grade performer. And what we're saying is you come at both those participants exactly the same way. Now, they're not dealing with the same thing, and you're not coaching on the same thing, but you have to bring your clean slate and the same values and principles that you uphold to them. Because this could also work the other way. You might have a participant, or you interact with a coach who they've been doing so well many weeks in a row. We then form a bias the other way, which is they become like the favorite participant. And suddenly you'll find you're bringing leniency to that person, or you're not pushing them outside their comfort zone, right? Because you're not being the same to them. You don't bring that equanimity that you bring to them, as you are bringing this sort of strictness you are to somebody that's struggling. And an example that we have, or we face, Ambi and I, is that when we're coaching and empowering coaches, right, as many of you know, and we are not part of this organization, which is like, we trained with an organization called Landmark, and we've trained with, and I've trained with Tony Robbins and Chinmaya Mission and a bunch of other people. Now, anybody here who has trained with one of those other organizations, as I have, and they know a tool from Tony Robbins' world, or they know a distinction from the Vedas or Chinmaya Mission, right? They've learned a particular terminology there. I can't be speaking to them in line with that same terminology, expecting that they should know that. And when I speak to another coach who hasn't done that course with Chinmaya Mission, right? If you've not done that course with them, you know, I can't have a judgment on you to say, you won't get it because you're not coming with this ancient Eastern Vedic philosophy in your mind, right? If I'm approaching you with this person understands that Vedic concept and this person doesn't, I'm not approaching two different coaches with equanimity, right? So that really matters. I think it was with Jag was coaching Nitin recently. Nitin was somebody who wanted to quit, right? It's very easy when this guy wants to quit and pulls out his trump card and he shares with us what he's dealing with, the struggle, and the story that he paints is he's completely a victim of the world. Shit is happening to him, right? And the way we are saying as coaches, we need to relate to everybody. There's the point on empowering, right? Or we always speak to their greatness, always uplift them. Is I always have to see Nitin as the greatest possible father, husband, pharmacist, entrepreneur, right? And when shit's going his way, I don't have to buy into his story. My job, our job as a coach, is not to buy into that story that speaks to his smallness or gets bought into his drama. On that note, I just realized that, and I hope I haven't deleted this, the recording that we recorded off our call with him. I'm going to double check that. I didn't share that with the coaches. It might be deleted, but I'm going to double check for it. That's what I'm trying to say. We have to approach this guy with the same equanimity that we would approach a participant in his challenge like Lais or Prinal, who are performing. They're crushing it. They're doing really well, right? Those coaching calls might go easy because we think that they're speaking, operating on our wavelength, right? And we need to not form those biases and approach them all the same.
Can I just say something on those?
Yeah.
On that as well. So basically, all three of my participants, right, have required me really compared to the beginning of the challenge, and then I'd say it probably shifted, probably because of Nitin. It definitely shifted with all of them, because then I started seeing a really big shift with Chandani as well and Priti, and it was just seeing like they are all individuals, like you said, Oliver. They all have different requirements, but it's where I'm coming from with each participant every single time that makes a difference, where I'm just coming completely like, okay, clean slate, you know, let's just deal with what they've got today. And one of the things that I really got was just how, like, literally, as soon as I started seeing them from that greatness, like I can't stop acknowledging them, because I'm just like, wow, that's so amazing. Like, I'll listen to the story that they have, but then I convert it into this huge greatness, right? Like, that's amazing. Like, I can really see what that would have taken for you this week. And the more that I've been able to acknowledge them for their greatness, actually, the more they've been just sharing with me, actually. They actually get really personal. There's stuff from their past that they talk, stuff that they're dealing with, which is really embarrassing. And it really just it really opens them up to be more open as well, where they just they know that they can share with you as well. And I'm starting to see this reputation I'm getting called tough love coach. A few people have called me that, but I think I'm finding a balance where I'm acknowledging what they're going through, not falling, like not getting sucked into the story, and being able to just acknowledge, okay, I get that's what you've got and that's where you're coming from, and I really get how you're really just being so great about it. And then say, okay, so now this is the challenge. So like, what we're going to do this week? Like, it's really like shifted how I can still, like, this is what we're coaching on, though. You know, this is so how we're going to bring that into this week so that you're powerful. So yeah, I definitely seen a huge shift by like removing those labels, like thinking that they're all a certain way. Yeah.
Thanks,
That's all I
Jack.
was gonna say.
And thanks, Ronnie. So we have 6 minutes. I definitely want to hear more from some of you guys in terms of what's showing up in terms of these leadership values. What are you hearing? Any more clarifications, any more queries? And just to recreate, Ronnie is very, very keen to do mock conversations across all of them where we've struggled consistently with participants and even people in our life in the future monthly team calls. So just so you know, that's also there. We will really continue to work on this skeleton as our moral compass. But any other questions, comments, queries?
I want to add to the point on non-judgmental in response to Viraj's earlier query. And this is also a contribution to all of us during lockdown. Non-judgmental is also something you have to bring to yourself. It's a beautiful video. I was listening to Gary Vee and the interviewers. I don't know if you guys know, but nowadays, if you want to have a meeting with Gary Vee, you book an hour of his time. And I think it's like $20,000 to have a meeting. And so you go there and you get to be in a room, you get to film it, and that's your 1 hour, ask what you want with Gary Vee. So entrepreneurs pay for that, to go out there, they feature, it becomes one of his videos, and they get content to do that. And one of the questions they asked was, what do you think is your super skill or your ability to be able to move or to do so many things within your group and your company, right? So the Vayner group has grown. And he paused, he had to think for this for the first time, something around his ability to move really quick. And he basically said, it's my ability, my super ability to not judge myself. And what he means by that, to not judge himself, is I right now in lockdown, I'm feeling lockdown, and I was getting calls and people phoning me, the 21-day challenge, you know, that was prompted and nudged by somebody else. But the way my approach is this is such an opportunity to make a difference and do so much to so many people, impact lives. And at the same time, my default setting is I'm on my own, right? Like right now, Claire and a group of people have organized a food train for about 20, 30 days to take care of us, provide help with meals while after we have the baby. And I'm like, why are we doing this? F it, I can do it myself. I'm not doing it currently, but I'm claiming I'm going to get some kind of superhero status and start cooking 3 meals a day after that. And what I hate is I hate asking for help. To me, asking for help is like begging, right? I'm begging for help. And I don't like to be in that position. I don't like to be relying on someone else. And there's that judgment, that self-judgment that's coming there for me. And Gary was talking about, like, every F-up that he makes, his inability to let go, to say, well, we made that decision, that didn't work out, did it? And they crack on and move to the next one. And they don't have this big strategy document. And he says how even in conversations, if you get the Vayner and the McKinsey guys drunk and you go out for a meal, they actually tell you that the strategy comes from the actions. So we start off by taking actions, throwing our hat over the wall. You sign up to the 1,000 challenge, you get a hunt, an idea on something, get a hunch that this might work, take a punt on it, sign up to it, you sign up to it, it goes, it grows. It may or may not work, right? We might try something else tomorrow, right? Or any of you will try something you will, then it may or may not work for you, right? But that action and that failure and the inability to not judge yourself will have you get back up and crack on with the next approach. Because what will happen, especially in this period of lockdown, I'm dealing with this undue and self-created pressure of I should be doing so much more. So there's an expectation I'm creating, and then this is how my day is going. I wake up, I do a workout, I get a walk, I shower, I probably feed Kanea one meal, or I'm doing an assignment with him, or his homework at some point, or I dial into one call that's scheduled in, and then it's 5 p.m. And then, damn, where's the day gone, right? And so this is where I'm operating, and this is my expectation. And many days in a row, and that becomes very disempowering because I'm judging myself as I'm unable, I'm inefficient, I'm underproductive, I'm not cut out for this. And it is such a heavy load that we carry. We talk about this as well on Kilimanjaro, right? That the greatest load that we're carrying is judgment. So that's we do a lot of exercises at the base of the mountain to share judgment that we have of each other and to give that up, like to lift that load and chuck it off to one side, because it builds up as we go up that mountain, and we become more and more in our heads.
Thanks a lot, Ronnie, for that. I think all of us can relate to that.
I got loads out of that, Ronnie. Brilliant.
Many points. So it is 9 o'clock, guys. I'm going to wrap up. Pri and Jesse, enjoy the recording. So great to connect with all of you. What a rich team call. So I'm not going to be on the next monthly team calls. Viraj, I'm going to miss seeing your beautiful face. And Olga, you're going to be coaching soon. So, well, I actually won't see most of you for many calls beyond next week. But big hugs to all of you and loads of love. Claire will certainly send you. Well, I'll share the recording on the chat, so everybody will get it.
Ambi, you're going to miss seeing Viraj's face. Better take a screenshot, because it's not going to look like this at the end of his 90-day challenge. Chiseled and high cheekbones and everything, you know. So he's on a whole new mission.
Awesome. And Tom, just to wrap up with acknowledging you on just constantly bringing your leadership, your innovation, your ideas. It's so brilliant. So please keep being that gigantic stand for this group and this community with these incredible ideas. And it's so awesome to see all the coaches on it. I love it. So really, thank you from the bottom of our heart.
So I just wanted to share on Tom, right? Tom, the thing that Tom's created, like the 1,000-day challenge, is something that he shared with us, and he nudged us last week to say we've got to do something. And I'm still in that view, judging myself off, I've got to be doing something more, but I'm still I'm still stuck in getting the approach or the plan right. Like, let's strategize it. How are we going to do, what days? Let's do 4 days a week of our live videos. And I still want to do that, and we're going to do that. And I think the way it's going to work is just saying yes and then putting it out there. And so while sitting on that, Tom's then come up with this other thing, which is a 1,000 rep challenge, right? From the video he shared with us, and just acted upon it, right? And it's kicked off. And this is Tom's own initiative. But instead of coming here every month, every week on a call, and you're generating that objective that I'm someone who uses social media to make a difference and transform lives, right? I'm a go-to health leader, right? Like, the power of affirmations has not been more real than seeing that at play, Tom. So I just really want to acknowledge that the reason we get our participants to generate that at the beginning of each call, and we as coaches generate that on every webinar or on these coaching calls, you want to start to see where this starts to come into fruition, right? So who knows what this will grow into or may grow into for Tom, right? But it's a classic example of how you can birth something from nothing, right? And so, like I said, we'd love to, on upcoming calls, we'd love to discuss mocking. We'd love to discuss also the starting 30-day habit groups within transforming a billion lives. So that we can start already doing something for an already existing community that are looking for something, especially now during this moment. It'll be good for us to explore as coaches. Hey, I want to start a 30-day habit group for X.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing as well? I started on the start of COVID these daily calls, and it's for people to come with whatever's concerning them and get cleared and have a small bit of coaching. And now we've made them 3 days a week, and lots of FITBANKER coaches, people have been on them, and then lots of other people. And there's just this really great consistent group. And yeah, I just feel like that just started out of wanting to help people who are really isolated, and like some of us are like solo parenting right now, and now like it's just evolving into something wholly new. So I really invite you all to come on them, and they're for everyone and they're free. And yeah, just I've loved the growth that's come around it with it for me personally and for everyone. And like people like Anoop is on it, and he's like completely transformed.
Oh, that's
like, Anoop is like in a whole new space, and there's just some people on it you just can't recognize them, you know. Like one guy who's on the calls who I also heal with, he's for 5 years not seen his kids or his ex-wife, been at court, couldn't see them for 4 hours in the centre, and he's now had a birthday presents and cards off them. He's now able to see his kids. It's like a miracle. So
that's
yeah,
amazing. Well done, and congrats, Claire, on creating that and leading that. That's just really, really epic. All right, guys, we're gonna jump 4 minutes over, and I know most of you've got to jump off, but really well done to all of you for your amazing contributions. Big hugs, loads of love.
All right.
See you later.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.
everyone. Bye.